The moment I saw my father's truck in my driveway, packed to the brim, I knew my life was about to shatter. It was a clear, sunny afternoon, but a cold dread snaked its way up my spine, a chilling premonition of the battle that was about to unfold right here, on my own property.
I'm Ethan.
I'm 29, and for 2 years, my modest 3-bedroom house had been my fortress, a testament to years of grueling work in cybersecurity, late nights, and sacrifices. It wasn't a mansion, but it was mine. This sanctuary, this quiet corner of peace, was about to become a war zone. This morning, I was lost in lines of code, the quiet hum of my workstation my only companion. Then came the disruption, a loud clatter from outside, the unmistakable roar of my father, Robert's, old pickup. I peered out my window, and my blood ran cold. There they were, Robert, my 22-year-old brother Caleb, and Chloe, Caleb's very pregnant girlfriend. They weren't visiting. They were unloading. Boxes, suitcases, baby paraphernalia, all being directed by Chloe, who looked heavily pregnant, her belly straining against her shirt. My feet moved on their own, carrying me to the front door, confusion warring with a burgeoning anger. Dad, what in God's name is going on? Robert, ever the king of casual disregard, merely glanced up. We're moving Chloe in, Ethan. She needs a stable environment for the baby. My jaw must have hit the floor. Moving her in where? He gestured vaguely. Your guest room, of course. Caleb will stay with us, but Chloe needs her own space. You have plenty of room. The audacity. It hit me like a physical blow, stealing the air from my lungs. You're joking, right? You can't just move someone into my house without asking me. Caleb, who had been avoiding my gaze, finally mumbled, "Come on, Ethan. She's pregnant. Don't be a dick." A switch flipped inside me. My voice, usually calm and measured, became a low, dangerous growl. Get off my property. Now. No. Robert's face began to flush a furious red. She's family. She's carrying your nephew. She's not family, I retorted, each word laced with ice. She's not even Caleb's wife. And even if she were, you don't get to make decisions about my property. You have 30 seconds to start loading that stuff back up, or I'm calling the police. Chloe, eyes wide with fear, started to cry. Ethan, please. Your parents said it would be okay. I have nowhere else to go. That's not my problem, I said, my voice hardening. And my parents don't own this house. I do. 20 seconds. Robert took an aggressive step towards me, his eyes burning with outrage. You wouldn't dare call the cops on your own family. My hand was already dialing. I pressed the phone to my ear, my eyes locked on his. I'd like to report a trespassing in progress. 3 individuals are attempting to move into my home without permission. The dispatcher's calm voice was a stark contrast to the escalating chaos around me. Robert's face went from an angry red to a mottled purple. You're actually doing this? Over a pregnant girl. I'm doing this, I spat, because you're trying to steal my property rights. 10 seconds to start moving that stuff. They didn't move. Not an inch. 12 agonizing minutes later, 2 patrol cars pulled up, lights silently flashing. Officer Rodriguez, a woman with an unflappable demeanor, took the lead. She listened patiently as I explained, then turned to my father. Sir, do these individuals have your permission to be on Mr. Hayes's property? No, they do not, I interjected, my voice unwavering. I've asked them to leave multiple times. She turned back to Robert, her voice firm. Sir, you need to remove yourselves and any belongings from this property immediately. Caleb exploded, a raw, desperate cry. This is insane. He's my brother. She's pregnant. Officer Rodriguez didn't flinch. That doesn't give you the right to occupy someone else's property without permission. Please start loading your vehicles. As they reluctantly began to haul boxes back into their cars, a cold certainty settled over me. Officer, I said, my voice cutting through the tension, I'd like to file a formal trespassing complaint. I want this documented. Robert stopped dead, a box half-loaded. You're filing charges against your own family? I'm protecting my property, I replied, my gaze unblinking, from people who clearly have no respect for boundaries or law. The next hour was a blur of surreal paperwork, official statements, and the stifling silence of betrayal. Chloe sobbed uncontrollably, her distress a sharp pang in my chest, but it wasn't enough to sway me. Caleb hurled every insult he knew, and Robert, my own father, swore I'd regret this. Family is supposed to help family, he raged. Family is supposed to respect each other, I shot back. Family doesn't ambush you and try to force responsibilities on you that aren't yours. The moment they drove away, leaving behind an eerie silence, I acted. Within hours, my house was a fortress. Cameras went up, pointing at every angle. Every single lock was changed. The spare key my parents once held, a symbol of trust, was now just a memory. My lawyer friend Michelle confirmed I was entirely within my rights. Document everything, Ethan, she advised. The text messages started before I could even process it all. My mother, Sarah, who hadn't even been present, called me heartless. My aunts, uncles, cousins, a digital firing squad of judgment. The family group chat exploded, painting me as a monster for daring to protect my own home. I posted one response: anyone who thinks they have a say in who lives in the house I paid for is welcome to offer their own homes. My property, my rules. This discussion is over. Then, I muted it all. I wasn't backing down. I had worked too hard, sacrificed too much, to let anyone, family or not, treat my home like communal property. Caleb was 22. If he was old enough to create a life, he was old enough to provide for it without stealing from his brother. And Robert, my father, had just learned that being the patriarch didn't extend to properties he didn't own. Tomorrow, a gate was going in. The last 48 hours had been a twisted reality show starring my own family. 2 days later, I woke to my doorbell camera alerting me at 6 a.m. It was Sarah, my mom, standing on my porch with grocery bags. "Mom," I spoke through the intercom, my voice weary, "you're trespassed from this property. You need to leave." Her voice was thick with tears. "Ethan, please. I just want to talk. I brought your favorite breakfast." "Mom, I love you, but you need to respect my boundaries. Please leave, or I'll have to call the police again." She stood there for 10 minutes, crying, pressing the doorbell occasionally, before finally leaving. An hour later, my phone rang from an unknown number. It was my Uncle David. "Ethan, what the hell is wrong with you? Your brother made a mistake, but you're throwing a pregnant woman on the street." "I didn't throw anyone anywhere, Uncle David. I prevented them from illegally occupying my home. Where's your offer to house her? I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. If it's so cruel not to house her, surely you can make it work. Or are your boundaries more important than mine?" He hung up, the line dead. The real drama hit that afternoon. In the middle of a client video meeting, my security camera blared an alert. A convoy of cars pulled up: Robert's truck, Aunt Teresa's SUV, and 2 others belonging to various cousins. They didn't step onto my property, they knew better. But they stood on the public sidewalk, holding signs. Actual handwritten signs: "Ethan chooses property over family, heartless brother," and the piece de resistance: "What would Jesus do?" I took screenshots for documentation and finished my meeting, my face a mask of professional calm. They stayed for 2 hours, drawing curious neighbors and prompting a flurry of concerned texts asking if I was okay. That evening, Michelle called. "Ethan, your father came to my office today." My breath hitched. What did he want? He wanted to know if there was any legal way to force you to house Chloe. I told him nothing beyond suggesting he consult his own attorney, but I wanted you to know he's escalating. I thanked her, my stomach churning. A quick check of my security footage confirmed it: Robert determined, entering her building, then leaving, utterly defeated. But the crown jewel of this insanity arrived the next morning. Caleb posted on Facebook, tagging me, making our private hell public. My brother Ethan would rather see his pregnant sister-in-law and unborn nephew homeless than share his empty guest room. I guess when you make good money, family stops mattering. Remember this when you need help one day, bro. Over 100 reactions flooded in before I even saw it. Old high school acquaintances, distant relatives, even some coworkers, all piling on, calling me selfish, cruel. I crafted my response carefully, each word a precise counterstrike. Since Caleb has decided to make this public, let me be clear. I was ambushed by family members who attempted to move someone into my home without my knowledge or consent. When I refused this illegal action, I was verbally abused and threatened. I have filed police reports and installed security cameras for my protection. Caleb is 22 years old and capable of working. Chloe has parents and family of her own. There are numerous assistance programs for pregnant women. What there isn't is a law that says I must provide free housing to my brother's girlfriend because he refuses to get a job. I worked 60-hour weeks for 3 years to afford my home. I lived on ramen and drove a 15-year-old car to save for my down payment. Meanwhile, Caleb has lived rent-free in our parents' basement, refusing multiple job offers because they were beneath him. If you feel so strongly about this, I encourage you to offer your own homes. Chloe needs a place to stay, and I'm sure she'd appreciate your charity. But virtue signaling on Facebook while offering nothing yourself makes you a hypocrite, not a hero. This is the last I'll speak on this matter publicly." The comments section exploded. Some deleted their earlier comments. Others doubled down. A few coworkers actually reached out privately, telling me they supported me and would have done the same. Then came a text from Chloe. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I didn't know they hadn't asked you. Robert told me you were excited to help. I'm staying with my sister Michelle in Ohio now. I never wanted this drama." I felt a pang of genuine empathy. She was 20, pregnant, a pawn in my family's twisted game. "Chloe," I responded, "I appreciate you reaching out. This was never about you personally. I wish you the best with your pregnancy and hope Caleb steps up as a father." She hearted the message but didn't reply further. Caleb, of course, sent his own text an hour later. "So, you'll be nice to my girlfriend, but not to me? You're such a fake." I didn't respond. Sarah tried calling 6 times that day. Her voicemails progressed from pleading to angry to utterly resigned. The last one was just her crying, whispering she didn't know how our family got to this point. I knew exactly how. Years of enabling Caleb. Years of Robert thinking his word was law. Years of boundaries being treated as suggestions. But it ended with me. My home was my sanctuary, and I would protect it from anyone who didn't respect that, blood-related or not. My security system was upgraded again, motion sensors and reinforced doors. It might seem like overkill, but I'd learned, my family didn't understand subtle boundaries. They needed brick walls. Michelle even suggested a restraining order if the harassment continued. It sat in my back pocket, a grim last resort. I loved my family, but I loved my sanity and my home more. 1 week later, I discovered my family's capacity for drama was truly limitless. 3 days ago, at 3 a.m., my cameras detected motion in my backyard. My heart jolted, a cold spike of fear. A figure was trying to jimmy my back door. I was about to call 911 when the figure turned, and I saw Caleb. Drunk. Stumbling. Cursing at my door. "Sir, we have units en route," the dispatcher said, her voice steady. "Do not confront the individual." I watched on my phone as Caleb gave up on the door, stumbled to my shed, tried that lock, then, unbelievably, relieved himself on my prize-winning hydrangeas before collapsing onto my patio furniture, pulling out his phone. The police arrived within minutes, lights flashing, painting my quiet street in stark blues and reds. I watched Caleb jump up, try to run, trip over my garden hose, and faceplant into my lawn. I would have laughed if I wasn't so utterly enraged. I met Officer Rodriguez at my front door. "Mr. Hayes," she said, a hint of weariness in her voice, "your family is keeping us busy." I showed her the footage. "He's drunk, and he tried to break into both my house and my shed." Caleb was handcuffed in the back of the patrol car, alternating between drunken sobs and screaming that I was ruining his life. Officer Rodriguez took my statement. "Do you want to press charges?" "Absolutely," I said, my voice firm. "Breaking and entering, attempted burglary, trespassing, and whatever else applies." Caleb spent the night in jail. Robert called me 15 times before 8 a.m. I finally answered. "Ethan, you had your brother arrested? Your own brother?" "No, Dad. Caleb had himself arrested when he tried to break into my house drunk at 3 a.m. He was just trying to talk to you." "By breaking into my house at 3 a.m. drunk? Dad, stop enabling him." "I'm coming over," he seethed. "You're trespassed from my property. Come here, and you'll be arrested too." He hung up, but he didn't come. Instead, he sent Sarah's sister, Aunt Patricia, who technically hadn't been trespassed before. She stood at my door for 20 minutes, knocking, calling out that she just wanted to mediate. I called the police again. When they arrived, I had her formally trespassed and added to the documentation. That afternoon, a call from an unknown number. It was Brenda, Chloe's mother, calling from Ohio. "Ethan, this is Brenda, Chloe's mother. I wanted to apologize for my daughter's involvement in all this." I was surprised. "Mrs. Miller, you don't need to apologize. Chloe was manipulated by my father. Still, she should have known better. But I wanted you to know that Chloe is safe here with us. We have a nice apartment with room for the baby. And Jason hasn't called her once since she left." That hit me harder than I expected. "He hasn't?" "No. Chloe tried calling him, but he said he was too stressed with the legal troubles to deal with her drama." His words. I sighed. I'm sorry, Mrs. Miller. Caleb is Caleb. Chloe is better off knowing now. I also wanted you to know that we support what you did. Nobody has the right to force their way into your home. Your father was wrong. I thanked her, my voice thick. At least Chloe had one stable family to rely on. Yesterday brought a new level of absurdity. A process server showed up at my door. Robert was suing me for intentional infliction of emotional distress and breach of familial duty. I couldn't help but laugh, a hollow, bitter sound. The server looked confused. Sorry, I choked out, it's just breach of familial duty? Is that even a thing? He shrugged. I just deliver 'em, man. I called Michelle immediately. She laughed even harder. Breach of familial duty? What lawyer would even file this? Arthur Jenkins, according to the papers. Oh, him. He's an ambulance chaser who probably owes your dad a favor. This will get thrown out immediately, but you'll need to respond. I'll handle it pro bono. This is too entertaining to pass up. Last night, Sarah finally broke ranks. She called from Aunt Patricia's phone. Ethan, honey, it's Mom. Please don't hang up. Mom, you're calling from Aunt Patricia's phone? I know. Robert doesn't know I'm calling. Ethan, I'm sorry. This has all gotten so out of hand. Mom, no, let me finish. Your father and I have been fighting nonstop. He's obsessed with winning against you. Caleb is drinking heavily and talking about dropping out of his job training program. The whole family is divided. Your cousins are fighting with each other on Facebook. It's a disaster. And you were right. Robert had no right to try to move someone into your house. Caleb needs to grow up and take responsibility. I've been enabling them both for too long. A weight, heavy and suffocating, lifted from my chest. Thank you for saying that, Mom. I'm staying with Patricia for a while. Your father. He needs to figure some things out. And Ethan, I'm proud of you for standing your ground. I didn't raise you to be a doormat. I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart. Be safe. This morning, I woke to an email from Caleb. Subject, you win. Ethan, I hope you're happy. Chloe won't talk to me. Mom left Dad. Dad's going crazy. I'm probably going to jail. The family is destroyed. All because you couldn't share your precious house. You win. You get to keep your perfect life in your perfect house all by yourself forever. When you're old and alone, remember that you chose property over people. Remember that you had a chance to help family and chose to call the cops instead. I'm done trying with you. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have a brother anymore. Caleb. I stared at that email for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond, to explain again that this was about boundaries and respect, not property. But I knew it wouldn't matter. Caleb only saw himself as the victim. I forwarded the email to Michelle with a note, please add this to the documentation. The irony wasn't lost on me. Caleb said I chose property over people, but he chose entitlement over accountability. Robert chose control over respect. They made their choices long before I made mine. My house was quieter now. The cameras showed only delivery drivers and neighbors walking dogs. My doorbell only chimed for packages. It was peaceful, but it was also sad. This wasn't how I wanted things to go. I wanted a family that respected boundaries. I wanted a brother who took responsibility. I wanted a father who saw me as an adult, not a resource to be commanded. Instead, I had a restraining order hearing next week and a family scattered to the winds. But I also had my home, my sanity, and my self-respect. And despite what Caleb said, I wasn't alone. I had friends who'd reached out in support. I had coworkers who'd shared similar stories. I had my mother, who finally saw the truth. And I had the knowledge that I stood up for myself when it mattered most. 3 months later, I wasn't planning another update, but so much had unfolded, it felt necessary to provide closure. Chloe gave birth to a healthy baby girl 2 months ago, naming her Emma. I found out through Facebook, a tag from Chloe's sister Michelle, congratulating me on becoming an uncle. It was the first time anyone from either side had reached out in weeks. Caleb wasn't at the birth. According to Brenda, who called me afterward, he claimed he couldn't afford gas to Ohio. The truth, she said, was that he was serving a 30-day jail sentence for the attempted break-in at my house. The judge hadn't been amused by his lack of remorse or his attempt to blame me. I wanted you to know, Brenda said gently, that Chloe is doing well. She's enrolled in community college for the spring. My husband and I are helping with the baby while she's in class. She's determined to build a good life for Emma. I'm glad to hear that. Really? She wanted me to ask, would you like to meet Emma? No pressure, but she is your niece. I thought about it for a long moment. Maybe someday, when things are less complicated. Brenda understood. The ridiculous lawsuit Robert filed was dismissed with prejudice 6 weeks ago. Michelle said the judge actually laughed when he read breach of familial duty, asking Robert's lawyer if he was serious. It was the most entertaining hour she'd spent in court all year. Robert didn't take the dismissal well. Sarah, who was staying with my grandmother, Eleanor, and keeping me updated through carefully worded emails, told me he spent a week ranting about the corrupt legal system. Then, 2 weeks ago, everything changed. My grandmother, Robert's mother, called me. Eleanor was 91, sharp as a tack, and took no nonsense. Ethan, dear, I've been watching the circus from afar, and I'm disgusted. Grandma, I'm not calling to scold you. I'm calling to tell you that you did exactly right. Your grandfather would be proud. Tears pricked my eyes. Grandpa had passed 5 years ago. Your father seems to have forgotten everything his father taught him about being a man. Real men don't steal from their children. Real men don't expect others to pay for their mistakes. And real men certainly don't sue their own sons for having boundaries. Thank you, Grandma. I'm not done. I've rewritten my will. The house that was going to your father now goes to you. The money I'd set aside for Caleb's future is going into a trust for that baby, Emma, accessible only for her education and only after she turns 18. Your father and brother will get exactly what they've earned. Nothing. Grandma, you don't have to. I don't have to do anything at my age, dear, but I want to. Your father called me yesterday ranting about loyalty and family. I told him that family doesn't mean being a doormat. He hung up on me, his 91-year-old mother. Can you imagine? I couldn't help but smile. Now, I want you to come for Sunday dinner next week. Just you. I'll make your favorite pot roast. That dinner was the best I'd had in months. Grandma and I talked for hours about Grandpa, about boundaries, about self-respect. She told me stories about Robert as a young man, how he'd always been controlling but had gotten worse. I blame myself partially, she admitted. I should have stood up to him more when he was younger. But I was from a different generation. We didn't talk about boundaries then. Last week, Sarah filed for divorce. She called me from her lawyer's office. I wanted you to hear it from me first. I'm done. Ethan, the way your father treated you, the way he's been treating me since I disagreed with him. I can't do it anymore. Mom, are you okay? I'm better than I've been in years. I'm staying with Grandma now. She insisted. We're actually having fun together. Can you believe it? I'm 60 years old and living with my mother-in-law, and it's the happiest I've been in a decade. I'm proud of you, Mom. I'm proud of you too. You showed me that it's never too late to stand up for yourself. Caleb got out of jail last month. He showed up at my work, which was a mistake. Our security called me before letting him anywhere near the building. I met him in the lobby, 2 security guards flanking me. He looked rough, thin, unshaven, wearing the same clothes I'd seen him in months ago. I'm not here to fight, he said immediately. I just wanted to see you. Ashley won't take my calls. Mom won't talk to me. Dad's gone off the deep end. Grandma wrote me out of the will. I have nobody. And whose fault is that? He stared at the floor. Mine. I know. I messed up everything. Caleb, what do you want? I want my brother back. I looked at him for a long moment. The brother you wanted would have let you walk all over him. That brother doesn't exist anymore. I know. If you want a relationship with me, you need to get your life together. Get a job. Keep it. Get therapy. Stay sober. Take responsibility for your daughter. Pay child support. Be a father, even if from a distance. That's a lot. That's the minimum. And Caleb, if you ever show up at my home or my work again without an invitation, we're done forever. Understood. He nodded, a single, defeated motion, and left. That was 2 weeks ago. According to Sarah, he's enrolled in a welding program and attending AA meetings. It's a start. Robert remains unrepentant, living alone in the family house, posting increasingly angry rants on Facebook about ungrateful children and the death of family values. Most of the extended family has unfriended or muted him. He drove by my house last week. My cameras caught him slowing down, staring, then driving away. He didn't stop, which was good, because the restraining order is still active. As for me, I'm doing well. I've been promoted at work. Turns out, standing up to your family translates well to standing up in the boardroom. I'm dating someone new, Maria, who fully supports my boundaries and even helped me install a new security system upgrade. My house is still my sanctuary, but it's no longer a fortress. I have friends over for dinner. Maria stays over on weekends. My mom and grandma are coming for Christmas. It's becoming a home, not just a house. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if I could have handled things differently. Maybe I could have been less harsh that first day. Maybe I could have given them a chance to apologize and leave peacefully. But then I remember the entitlement in Robert's voice, the assumption that my property was his to distribute, the complete lack of respect for my autonomy. I did what I had to do. Caleb sent me a picture yesterday. It was him at his welding program, wearing safety gear, actually looking focused. The message just said, Day 12. I replied with a thumbs up emoji. It's not much, but it's a start. Chloe sent me a picture too, through her mother. Baby Emma has Caleb's eyes, but Chloe's smile. She's beautiful. Maybe one day, when the dust has fully settled, I'll meet her. But not yet. My therapist, yes, I started seeing one through all this, says I'm handling everything remarkably well. That setting boundaries with toxic family members is one of the hardest things anyone can do, and that I should be proud of myself. I am proud, but I'm also sad. I wish I had the family I deserved, not the one I got. But we don't get to choose our family. We only get to choose how we let them treat us. I chose self-respect. I chose boundaries. I chose to protect what I'd worked for. And despite everything, the lawsuits, the arrests, the family drama, the public humiliation attempts, I'd make the same choice again. My home is mine. My life is mine. And anyone who can't respect that has no place in either. That's the hill I was willing to die on. Turns out, it was also the hill I needed to climb to see clearly. The family members who matter have rallied around me. The ones who don't have shown their true colors. And Caleb? Maybe he'll grow up, maybe he won't, but that's his journey now, not mine. I'm done enabling. I'm done being the family resource. I'm done apologizing for having boundaries. I'm finally free. And it all started with one word, no. Sometimes that's the most powerful word you can say, even to family. Especially to family. What do you think? Did I go too far, or was protecting my home and my sanity worth every single one of those painful choices? Let me know in the comments below.